Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, Show's World.
Welcome to Show's World, gamers. Josh here, and as this week draws to a close, I wanted to take a moment to look at this week's biggest news stories, gaming announcements, and this week's video game releases. If this is your first time on the channel, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button to join in on the fun.
Alright gamers, let's kick off this week in review with a few news stories. Now we did get a special Nintendo Direct this week, focusing on the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Wonder game, releasing for the Nintendo Switch on October 20th. We got a bunch of new gameplay showcasing new power-ups, game mechanics, and the new Flower Kingdom. The multiplayer and online modes, as well as the special edition Red OLED Switch releasing on October 6th. The game looks amazing, taking 2D Mario into the next generation of gaming, and I just can't wait to get my hands on this game. Now, in some really disappointing news this week, Sony announced PlayStation Plus subscription prices are going up, which honestly is not that big of a shock. What is shocking is how much the prices are actually raising. Starting in September and going forward, the new yearly prices for the different levels will be Essential going from $60 to $80, a 33% increase. Extra going from $100 to $135, a 35% increase. And Premium going from $120 to $160, a 33% increase. Now, it does look like Xbox is once again attempting to make a push in Japan to try to get some kind of foothold in the console market share, on the heels of announcing a partnership to bring more Square Enix games to Xbox. Now they announced the hiring of Mina Sato Kato as Director of Partnership in Japan, where she will be responsible for leading partnership of Japanese publishers at Xbox. She was previously with Sony for 8 years. Now, Analog is releasing a special edition of their popular Analog Pocket handheld device. The special edition will replace the normally black or white casing with a very retro-inspired 80s and 90s glow-in-the-dark case, and is releasing today, September 1st, for $249.99. If you're not familiar with the handheld console, it's a device that allows you to play Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance actual game cartridges. Now, to update the Baldur's Gate 3 Xbox issues, as we did report the game's delay coming to the Series systems because of issues bringing the game to the less powerful Xbox Series S, it does appear that they have resolved said issues, and the game will be coming this year to both the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. The difference being the Series S version will not support split-screen co-op, but it will still include cross-save progression between Steam and Xbox Series. The Xbox Series X version will be fully intact. Next up, let's take a look at some gaming announcements. Now, while many of us are in the middle of experiencing one of the greatest mech games ever made, we just got the announcement of an all-new mech game to look forward to. Custom Mech Wars was announced this week for the PlayStation 5 and PC, coming this winter. The third-person mech shooter will take the customization to an all-new level, with a creator tool that lets you fully customize your mech to the extreme and beyond to some pretty ridiculous levels. Now, we also got a look at Billy Bust Up. This week, an upcoming 3D platformer that looks colorful and a lot of fun. The gameplay looks good in the small amount of the game we have seen, and I'm going to keep my eye on this title. I am a fan of the genre, and good games are kind of hard to come by. So far, the character, graphics, and level design look good, but it will come down to camera and controls, so stay tuned for more info on this one. Now, #Blood is an indie game with a fun 3/4 top-down 16-bit Super Nintendo style mixed with 90s Cartoon Network style animation. In the game, you play as plucky teen Becky Brewster, fighting off the vampire apocalypse and surviving the horrors of freshman field hockey practice, while saving her friends and protecting her hometown. Altered Alma is a Metroidvania side-scrolling action-adventure video game that looks like a lot of fun. You play as Jack, a young mercenary and you must battle through the cyberpunk city of Neo Barcelona. As the story unfolds, the game is scheduled for PC, and I will definitely be looking forward to a console announcement soon. Now, New Arc Line is a story-rich, single-player RPG set during the Gilded Age of magic and technology. You will invent deadly gadgets, fall in love, fight, and use dialogue and wit to smooth talk your way to the top and get involved in a massive conspiracy as you influence the course of history. The game is scheduled to release next year in 2024 on the PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series systems. Alright gamers, let's finish up with this week's new game releases. Now, Sea of Stars finally released this week and is a must-play for fans of classic turn-based RPGs, especially the 16-bit Super Nintendo era. The game is releasing on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series systems. It's coming to Game Pass, and for certain levels of PlayStation Plus membership. The game has colorful, impressive pixel art graphics, a fun cast of characters, and some fun additions to the turn-based combat to keep it fresh. We did play some of the game here on the channel, and I will link that video at the end of this video. The game's getting super good reviews. Everybody's loving this game. I highly recommend giving it a shot. Also, Excitebike 64 is now available on the Nintendo Switch Online Service expansion in the Nintendo 64 game library. The game is a lot of fun and kind of a forgotten gem that not a lot of people remember from the console. It will support multiplayer online and split screen. The controls and physics on the original game were a little weird to get used to, but once you get them down, this game is a lot of fun. Now, Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy, is Trine's biggest, most magical co-op puzzle adventure game yet. The game released this week on the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series system. The game will support 1 to 4 players in local and online co-op gameplay, as you must bring the kingdom back from the verge of clockwork oblivion. Also, Samba de Amigo Party Central released this week on the Nintendo Switch. The game is a rhythm-based game where you shake maracas to the beat and pose with them. The original game released on the Dreamcast with actual maracas, but this new version allows you to use the Switch Joy-Cons. Now, Starfield will release next week, unless you ordered one of the deluxe editions of the game. In that case, you will get early access of the game starting today. This is definitely one of the most anticipated games of the year, and the biggest Xbox release of this generation so far. The game promises to be a huge open-ended space exploration game like we have never seen before. Alright gamers, that concludes this week in review for the week ending on September 1st. The week started with a bunch of new indie game trailers dropping as Gamescom winded down in Germany. Then, yet another fake Switch 2 leak set the internet ablaze, this time claiming the new console would be a VR system named the Nintendo Focus. And the week ended with review scores coming in for Starfield, looking very positive with the game currently sitting in the high 80s. But let me know anything we may have missed in the comments, and thanks for joining us today gamers. Choach World, out.